Hey everybody, it's Ruby here today, and today I wanted to create a video about organization in university. I just wanted to share the thing that I think was most important in my own university career in making sure that I had everything organized and making sure that I had everything on time, and that's a planner and how I organized that planner. Now I know a lot of people on BookTube probably don't need this, as you are nerds and are probably slightly older than the people who need to watch this, but I wanted to do it anyways for anybody who might come across this and might need it. So I'm going to discuss a couple of the things that I did in order to organize my life in university, and as well as some of the agendas that I used, which I will sort of show in a different sort of way later on in this video. So the number one thing that you should have is your syllabus, and this is something that I'm pretty sure most people in university should be able to receive. This is, for me at least, it was a couple of pages of university policies, as well as the dates and deadlines of when quizzes and assignments and papers were due, as well as chapters to read and topics to look forward to. So this information is what I used to organize how my semester was going to go. So I would write down the deadlines to all of my classes and organize it in a calendar as well, and maybe sometimes like a weekly calendar, just to make sure that everything was organized. I usually had this in a couple of different places. You'll see that in my planner, but I also have like a wall calendar, and I had it in my Google Drive just because I tend to be fairly forgetful, or maybe I don't remember to bring my planner one day, and I just wanted to make sure I had everything with me. So I'm going to start with the first kind of planner that I had, which is the original student planner. I believe this is Canadian, but you can buy it in America as well, and you can also order it online. And this organized it based off of, I believe it was appointments and assignments, general study, and the rest of your life, which is sort of how I ended up planning with my Filofax, which I got this last year. And I had to justify it. It's kind of expensive for a student budget, but it has worked well, and as you can see, it's been much loved. So they have the timetable, which I think is pretty standard for most student notebooks. And then you have this, which I haven't seen a lot of. It's courses and marks. So professor, office, course goals, course, room number, teaching assistant, date, test assignment, and then marks or percentage. And I just put sticky notes on my marks, not because I'm ashamed of the marks, but just because nobody needs to know that information. So I had been organizing that. And then you can put like percentages here. So like how much is something worth, which was really helpful. And then things to do this week, where this week is in the month, the 7 days with appointments, general study, and rest of your life. And so that really helps, because then you can put everything that was on your syllabi here in that first column, and then general study. So what are you going to do that day? And then are you going to see any friends? Do you have any like concerts you're going to? What else are you doing? Less helpful for people who think linearly, but more helpful for people who really need to organize what's going on. Now, here's one that I had filled out, and this is really interesting because this is actually the week that helped me the most with the planner, which is when I had everything on the same day. I had 2 midterms, a chapter exam, and then a paper 2 days later. So I really needed to organize things early, and so I started things 3 or 2 weeks ahead of time, and that really helped, because then I was able to kind of know what was going on. You'll also see that everything is color-coded. So purple was sociology, everything else was blue, like red was German, and then you had like orange and things like that, and that was just like what colors I associated with the classes. So this one was really similar, almost exactly the same. You have all the stuff organized. And I definitely got more into color coding everything once I had more things on my plate. And, you know, like the to-do this month was really good for things that we were kind of carrying over, as well as this week for anything that was kind of more abstract that you couldn't like write down. Now, my pride and joy is the Filofax. So this has been well loved, and this was after I had kind of understood how the planning worked. I'd looked at other people's planning systems and had decided, hey, I think it'd be really cool to have my own. This one gets a lot more in depth as to what I was doing each day. So I had a month, week, and daily planner, and so I'll just show that. So I had some Kikki K accessories here. This was actually started by another YouTuber. I'll try and see if I can link them down below if I can find them, but they had organized everything by, I think that their schedule was like hypothetical, so they'd say, okay, I had this many hours of time to do this sort of studying, but I actually did it to track how many hours I was doing per week. So again, it was color coded by the same things that I was color coding on the weekly schedule, but this time I was calculating per day and then per hour what I was doing. And this was really tedious, but it helped when I was getting really stressed out as to what I was doing, because it made me realize that I was actually studying a lot more than I thought I was. This is a bad example. This was 2 classes, so that's like 25 hours a week. And then gray is things that were not school related, and black were times that I, like downtime, seeing friends, things that weren't important or like weren't necessary for school or for work. And so then I have this. So this is another way of color coding what I was doing monthly. So the colors are still the same. So purple is still the same as purple for the coloring, still the same as the appointment one. And so that is just, you know, do I have an assignment due? Am I seeing someone? Did I exercise? Things like that. And then just 2 sample pages here, which I had in April. This was at like the very end of my 4th year when things were really hectic. So I would color code everything, and then I had, you know, friends like were gray, and then I had like coffee dates, and then just colors of everything I was doing, if I had a final, if I was taking a break, if I had a paper due, that sort of thing. At the end, I just have to-do lists. So this I would insert in between pages if there's anything else I needed to do, and then just little bits and bobs at the end, and then just a notebook for any notes I needed to do. I think this is an exercise one, so is there any exercising I was doing, anything like that. And then last but not least is the one that I had opened before. I can link that down below. This was a Filofax I just got recently. Really liked it because it had cute cats on it and really cute more cats. But this is actually for things that are unrelated to school that I knew I needed for an actual notebook. So we have calendar again, notes, to do, grad school, work, YouTube, and projects. And so I'm able to track how much money I make just through work and things like that. Any habits I want to be tracking, anything I need to do for grad school, do I need to apply for any scholarships, are it like visas, that sort of thing. YouTube ideas, which haven't been nearly as utilized as I should be. So that is everything. So that was my progression of my planners. So these 2 I use more regularly, this one especially, and it's very easily customizable. But then you also have stuff like this, which is more along the lines of someone who just needs something simple, but a lot of information to be able to sort of organize their student life. All right, so that's everything. I hope that some of you were able to glean some sort of tips and tricks for university. Comment down below if there's anything that you learned during university that really helped you out, and any advice you'd give to newcomers. And yeah, I hope you liked this video. Comment, subscribe, do your thing, and I'll talk to you guys later.